Oh, this is how I look like without a mask. It's an opportunity, a great honor for me to be here this afternoon, and my friend, the coolest Vice Chancellor, happens to be my greatest friend, so it's a joy to be here. The chaplain, it's the same circle of friends, so I'm really honored to be here. And Mr. Kalisa has already delivered my sermon, so I'm just going to give a few things. I'm going to actually crown his sermon with a few statistics. So you heard my name, Evas Atwine, Naalongo. Naalongo was my first PhD. Yes, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm a mental health specialist, and I'm a parenting coach. So the issues that Mr. Kalisa was talking about, and I'm really privileged to be here. I have been trying to reach out to the media on matters of family, because family is our foundation. In my sermon today, I'll emphasize, and I have a few minutes, but that is core to everything that I'll talk about, because we have pursued other things except the essentials. I have been, Mr. Kalisa, trying to check with the media how we can, because we have lamented on these issues, as you have said. We have talked about this. I just want to tell you that matters of anxiety, we are here to talk about mental health and complete wellness. I was looking at statistics, and 30% of the global population is anxious. When we talk anxiety, some people take it like a cool thing. I hear people say, oh, I'm just stressed, and it feels cool. It's not cool. Stress kills. Anxiety kills. What we call mental health disorders, which is stress, anxiety, and depression, have come to epidemic levels. I just want to assure you that imagine 30% of the people are saying, what can we do? When we talk anxiety, it's worry. We are worried about everything and anything. But when we talk depression, people have signed out of life. Every single day, that's the work I do, I'm a therapist. Every single day, I'm talking to depressed people. Now, you want to know that depression levels have come to 25% of the global population. When we talk global, you think we are doing well. I just want to give homemade statistics. Homemade statistics, are you ready? Mr. Kalisa, 1 in 7 of your employees is depressed. When we talk depression, these are people who are contemplating suicide. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, 1 in 7, sometimes 1 in 4. When we talk 1 in 4, we are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, one of you. Right? That's how bad it is. Now, you want to know that it's much easier to spot an anxious person than a depressed person. A depressed person you can't see. I have been trying to work with institutions of higher learning. Students are committing suicide. Have you seen that? Young people are committing suicide. You have talked about the issues we are having with the younger generation. Where is that coming from? You have ably talked about the issue of parenting. So I'm touching here and there, but let me focus. You probably want to know that we have 2 components of health. We have the physical, which we see, But we have what we call mental health, which is invisible health, which we don't see. I'm going to give you disappointing news that physical health, your physical health is only 10% of your health. Unfortunately, we give it 90% attention. Did you hear that? Only 10%, because did you know why? You're only 10% physical. The biggest part of you, which is 90%, is invisible. This is where it comes from. We talk about the spirit. And when we talk spirit and soul, people think this is a religious thing. So people, they go, oh, no, those are for saved days. You know, people who go to church. You are 90% invisible. I'm a relationship coach, and I always advise people who are here, young people who are looking for partners. We pursue physical, right? Oh, look at that guy. Oh my God, that's dude, right? Do you understand? We were pursuing hips and curves and all that. That's just 10% of a human being. The human being is inside. It is how they feel on the inside. Right? So your spirit is the core of your being. That's where you are. That's where you lie. Right? How you feel, your sense of love, your sense of purpose. I want to ask anyone to challenge me. Have you looked at suicide statistics? Very few people commit suicide because of material things. Material. It is how they feel on the inside. And you'll challenge me and say, oh, it's because they failed to get. No. Material food, clothes, we're doing good. But how we feel on the inside. Relationships. How we relate with other people. Did you know that 90% of our health comes from healthy relationships? Relationships are an important thing. Mr. Kalisa talked about it. That's why our children are depressed. They're looking for their parents, they're not there. I was teaching a group of parents last Saturday and telling them how anxiety disorders develop in children. You leave home, they've not seen you. You come home, they've not seen you. Some of the children are asking, did daddy come back? Mommy, you're going again. And you know what we tell them? I have to work for you. Work-life balance is something that is not tenable. We run a program we call Staff Wellness Program, a workplace mental health program. And these are some of the issues we're talking about. I was in your place asking for an opportunity for this. Workplace mental health program. While we work, can we keep in balance? Can we make sure that we are attending to other matters of life? Now, can I also give you a statistic you want to listen to? 80% of your health. Anyone married here? Anyone? There you go. 80% of your wellness, your purpose, your sense of purpose and fulfillment in life comes from family. 80%. Your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children. What are we saying now? Marriages are breaking like a big game. Have you looked at statistics lately? Yes, 50% of the marriages are ending in divorce. That's the work I do. The millennials, it's bad news. Now, Mr. Kalisa talked about how they are abandoning jobs. Do you know what is happening? They can't feel the partner. 3 months into the marriage, I think we are incompatible. Do you understand? 3 months. Before the tents are carried back home, we've signed out of the marriage. I have a couple that divorced on their way back from honeymoon. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They can't feed each other. Do you understand? Friends, I just want to tell you that what Mr. Kalisa was talking about, what I'm talking about here, let's talk about it. If we keep on this trend, we are headed nowhere. 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 Now, unfortunately, we keep going back and saying, like he was saying, we were parented well. We were helped. Our parents spoke to us. Money was not an issue. I grew up in a Christian home. And all I remember is that I did scriptures with my dad. That's the biggest memory I have. And I want to share with parents here who are content with provision. Provision. Did I tell you only 10% of our health comes from, of our wellness, of our happiness comes from material things? 10%. 10. 90 from relationships, 10 from material. The big house, big wall. Now, those are good. They have their place. I'm not sour graping here. Honestly, they have their place. They can only give you 10%. A number of people with so much property, absolutely depressed. And they are hitting this, but give me happiness, give me happiness. Right. And I get to talk to them every day. I can't believe I'm this. I have a client who has attempted suicide 3 times. He's one of the most successful business people in this country. I told him what I'm telling you. 10% you get it from material things. And it cannot, even if you puffed it up, it can only give you 10. You have no relationship with family. You have no relationship with your children. Parents who are retiring to no family. Right? Yes, you've been so busy. The world has told you, by 40, conformity. By 40, I hear statements. By 40, I need to have done this. Now, that's okay to be strategic. But at the same time, I hear a message, life begins at 40. So I keep asking people, so which life ends at 40 and which one begins at 40? Do you understand? The Bible tells us, do not conform to the standards of this world. Be renewed. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind, the soul. I want to ask us, I just want to give very quick thoughts here. Some of you may not know, I'm going to give you one extra statistic, that 80% of your child's health depends on a parent's marriage. 80. This is research, it's not hearsay. This is what I have studied. 80% depends on parents' marriage. We have been talking to depressed children, where parents, and I don't want to sound unreasonable because I know relationships fail, but also I know that we can really be more deliberate about building relationships. Parents, we are so consumed with, I'm providing, and every time I'm engaged in custody battle, I always talk to parents and say, do you know what this means? And most of the time I'm saying, I'll take my children, I'll look after them. When you check, it's only the 10%. We look at material, what I can give to the children. When you look at statistics, most of the children who are on drugs, they are from broken families, what we call dysfunctional families. Children who are attempting suicide, we do this research at our center. They come from what we call broken families, where we have provided iPhones and all this, all the material. I want to ask us, friends, this scripture we have read, Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. What is that? Our mental health comes from a heart of gratitude. We need to nurture this in our children and in ourselves. Let your gentleness, verse 5, be known to all. Calm. That's where mental health. I tell people, food for good mental health is peace, is hope, is encouragement, is a healthy perspective, is a sense of purpose and usefulness. That's food for mental health. It's not all these 10% material things we put into our children and ourselves. And verse 6 says, be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. I was talking about stress and depression. You probably want to know, last statistic, that 90% of all illness is either directly caused, or worsened by stress and anxiety. 90%. When you hear someone has dropped dead, they say, oh no, I was with her yesterday. No, she's been healthy. That's what I was talking about. And we are not sensitive enough. This program we deliver to the workplace. We support workplaces to develop a support system. Mr. Chancellor and Mr. Kalisa. This is so important because we just keep talking. And the world has mastered the art of fakeness. Even when we are friends, we are not friends enough. I say, hello, hi. Oh. We all trying to sound cool, right? To sound okay. And the service we provide, some organizations we partner with to deliver counseling services, people think that's a service for Bazungu. That's not for us, right? Now, I just want to ask you, friends, all the illnesses, the cardiovascular illnesses, the brain, mental health, mental disorientation, the immune system suppressed, the gut, the skin, women, we know how to do cosmetics. You're going to put here, not on the inside. We are serviced from inside, friends. So I want to ask us, quick things. Work-life balance. This is a whole thing I talk about. I need an hour to talk about work-life balance. People ask, is that possible? Yes, it is possible. We need to know the laws. We need to know that we can tweak a few things to nurture relationships. We need to invest in healthy relationships. We need to be deliberate about relationships. We don't just get good relationships anyhow. You have to invest in them. We need to avoid toxic relationships. Men who are here, I say this with a lot of burden. I tell people, not only men and women who are married, extras, be careful about extras. I tell people not every extra is an addition, right? Not every extra is an addition. You need to be very careful. The amount of every relationship is a management platform. The stress that goes into managing an extra, you would rather put that energy in your children and in your family. Extras. And I also want to ask you, friends, let's be deliberate about living a life of discipline. A life of discipline is a life of freedom, peace, and good health. You're hiding this, you're putting passwords. Passwords are not going to protect your mind. Let's be deliberate, friends. I want to ask us, to treat people well. One of the ways to achieve good mental health is to treat people well. Let's be deliberate. In the workplace, at school, every person. Now, my specialty is mental health, I told you, and family relationships and life coaching. But I want to tell you that I have been able to understand the mind of God in Scripture. When Scripture tells you what you want, do it for others. That's where it comes from. Do good acts. Every time you do a good act, you energize your inner health. right? I share and I challenge you. Please check yourself. What good act do you do? Some of us delight in telling people how me naturally am. That's me. Even my grandfather was like that. Right? Me, I'm a Muchiga, I don't apologize. And I also hear, I'm a man, men don't apologize. We are from Busoga. Now, who cares about that? Sorry, I don't have anything against Busoga. Let's be deliberate, friends. We have to apply, and when I'm talking to Christians, sometimes they think they are doing well. I engage in all these conversations where Christians think they are just a finished product. You're not. Sorry, I have bad news today. You need to get scripture into your lifestyle. On days like this, I carry water to give to policemen. Deliberately, that's my ministry. So I find them, do this, I park and give them water to drink. What good act do you do? Do you know when you do that, you get energized? Do that. Nurture positive mindset. Be gracious. Forgive. Forgiveness is not for only you. It's for all of us. It's not a Christian thing. It's for all of us. That was the mind of God for life. So I just want to end it with, because time is gone, but I just want to ask us, friends, let's live deliberate about our inner health. When we talk about spirit, I've told you, relationships. When we talk about the soul, we are talking mindset. We are talking our emotions. We are talking about our relations. We are talking about your will. We are talking about everything that we think about. 90%, always remember, we don't see. And it's on the inside of you. Your emotional energy, your mental health is extremely important. Finally, I want to ask you to encourage all of us, please seek professional therapy. Don't treat the body. Some of the illnesses you're treating are actually a result of an internal breakdown. That's an internal breakdown. The software has crashed. That's the language. This service is not for bazungu, right? It's not for the mentally ill. No. It is, you need to be deliberate about treating your inner self. And then it can sustain you. We are sustained from within. Don't focus on housing. And I want to ask us, friends, let's be deliberate about our families. I say this with a burden, and I say this with passion, but mostly a burden. As long as our families are not going well, we can fake it, but we are not doing well. So finally, brethren, be anxious for nothing. Whatever you have heard and saw and seen here, let these things be our regular lifestyle. And God bless you.